Blog Talk Radio. Welcome to this Saturday's edition of Super Conscious Outlet, featured on Blog Talk Radio, Universal Radio 2. We are excited to have as our media spokesperson, God King Grasshopper. He is known in the community as an African-centered motivational teacher and a service provider that inspires the youth to understand African awareness in his local community. He currently supports and facilitates events for the organizations of the Ka Men's Society, the House of Amun-Ra, and Sma Tawi. He sits alongside as co-host with the divine goddess Koshana Kweli Jones. Currently, she facilitates the learning environment as an expert metaphysician who teaches on the principles of African spiritual science. Queen Goddess Koshana is the founder of numerous organizations, the Voice of Mayat, and Global African Awakening, which can be found on Facebook. Her sole purpose in life is to motivate and awaken her people. Please give a special attention to our co-host, God King Grasshopper, and our featured host, Goddess Kweli Koshana Jones.
Yes, family, welcome to another Saturday with the Super Conscious Outlet. I am your host, Koshana Kweli, and today we're going to do it a little different. I'm going to introduce this amazing brother to you guys. He is my God King. He is a creative thinker. He is a trailblazer. He is a brother who means business. He is not here to play family. He is very loving. He's a revolutionary in the streets and also a revolutionary in his home. He is the most awesome gift from the ancestors that I can actually ever receive in my life. So let me give thanks and introduce my amazing God King Grasshopper. Grasshopper, are you with us?
Yes, I am here, and that's so nice of you. I thank you for that powerful introduction, and I definitely am in agreement, and I definitely accept. I'm just playing. But anyway, thank you very much for that wonderful introduction, and it's back to you in the quadrillion fold. But before we go on any further to this very powerful, important discussion we're going to have for you today, let's give a shout-out to our sponsors, starting with Global African Awakening, which can be found on Facebook.com. This organization cultivates an environment that is positive for those going through an awakening back into their greatness. If you want more information, simply inbox me, Grasshop, or Koshana Jones, if you want to be a part of that Blacknificent group. Also, we have Blacks Be Like, which also can be found on Facebook.com/Blacks Be Like, and please press the like button. Also, check out my Sister's Keeper, which can also be found on Facebook.com/My Sister's Keeper. We also have Success Goddess Money. She's an expert with credit repairing. She's a financial consultant and a real estate agent. You can find Miss Money on Facebook by simply typing in Success, SUCCESS, space GODIS, space Money, MONEY, which is on Facebook. Also, we have Devon Allen, a personal master fitness trainer who has a program which is entitled Reshape the People's Workout and Meal Plan. If you want to get in contact with this brother, simply call him at this number, 310-438-0154, or you can email him at D as in David, Things, THINGS, numbers 1236 at AOL.com. We also have another positive organization that can be found on Facebook, which is called Wisdom from the Field, which is an outreach program that provides service for the community with diaper giveaways, food co-ops, and free haircuts for young men. Once again, you can reach this organization by going to Facebook and simply typing in Wisdom from the Field. Or if you want to get in direct contact, you can reach out to Brother Kenneth at 323 area code 606-1958. Wisdom from the Field. And lastly, family, if you're in the greater Los Angeles area, Sunday morning around 10:30 a.m., please visit the famed Craft Unity Center of Afro-Con Spiritual Science, which can be, the address is 7825 Southwestern Avenue, Los Angeles, California. When you go there, Sunday morning, you will get some profound teachings from the Righteous Right Reverend Mary Kara and some good people who are like-minded and is in the business of helping to elevate the minds of our people. So those are the sponsors, and now we're going to get into the program. Family and friends, we have what is called today the Metaphysics of Love, power couples. And I want to dedicate this this program to Asar and Aset. Asar and Aset, the deities that were together, the deities that were firm, side by side, a union, a team. And I know that their energy, their presence, and their spirit is going to be all throughout this program today, because you got macro Asar and Aset on this program and receiving the power from the macro Asar and Aset, while we are the micro Asar and Aset throughout this program. Now, I would like to start off with a question to the hostess with the mostest as it ties into the topic for today. So we talk about the power of, or the metaphysics of black love. I would like to know, since we're talking about power couples, what qualifies a relationship to be considered a powers couple relationship? What's the difference between a regular couple's relationship as opposed to a power couple's relationship? God is Koshana Jones.
That's a good question. First, let me say salute to all couples, especially all melanated, beautiful couples. I love everyone. Now, to me, a power couple, though, is a couple that has that what you call an X factor. They can own a crowd. They're powerful role models to other people. You can tell that he uplifts his goddess. You can tell that she uplifts her God. A power couple is someone who works together and they don't just look good together, but they work good together. You can tell that everything that they touch turns to gold. You know, we have in front of us today, as far as in the hip-hop arena, we have people like Beyonce and Jay-Z, and we have Obama and Michelle. And they are definitely representing the essence of what a power couple can be. And we can flip even what we consider that they're doing that's not so positive and take that energy and get an idea of what it looks like when a black man and a black woman is holding it down together. We are unstoppable, family, when we know the power of each other, when we have learned to tap into the essence of what it is to be beautiful, melanated beings, but when we are uplifted by each other, when our brothers have our backs and when our sisters have their brothers' back, it is a totally different energy. And for me, like the guests that we have on today, like Jay Allen and Jay Valentina and Goddess Sedai and Chrono, I picked them because they have an energy. And you can feel their energy. You know, we have Jay Valentina and Jay Allen. They got the Black Light page, and they do all kind of things together. And they're not even locally connected. They're distant relationships. So this is how powerful you can be, and you're not even in the same room together. So imagine how powerful they're going to be when they are in the same room together. So yeah, that's my idea of what a power couple is. I'm going to ask you the same question, Grasshopper. What is your idea of a power couple?
Well, a power couple to me is two individuals that are affection kin that share similar ideologies, qualities when it comes to activities, but also might have their own independent thought. You know, we're going to talk about this later on. What is the distinction between a couple that is strong when they are opposite of one another and opposed to the couple that complements one another, how we can distinguish the two. I think both are relevant and prevalent when it comes to relationships. Another thing that represents a power couple to me is growing together, constantly learning with each other, as you mentioned earlier, having each other's back, supporting each other, being real with each other without being disrespectful, growing, evolving, developing, traveling, learning together, building together, being able to have some serious discourse when the time permits for it, and also the examples that I would like to use as far as a power couple, because you threw some examples out there, are the likes of an Ashwa Kwesi, Mary Kwesi.
Right.
Epitomizes a power couple. The late greats, Malcolm X and Betty Shabazz, they implemented a sound power couple. And this goes on, and even some
you
others
have to
that we know.
Martin and Coretta.
Martin Luther King Jr. and Curtis Scott King, yes, absolutely. They implemented definitely a power couple. And it don't have to be relegated to people that's famous either, that's what I'm saying. You got some people that in my family, my great-grandmother, and not my great-grandmother and my great-grandfather, they was married for 50 years. They epitomized a power couple. My grandfather, who's been married 3 times, haven't been divorced once. You dig what I'm saying? So, he stayed committed. And to my biological grandmother, and my grandmother that raised me, and the woman he's with now, he stayed committed to the end. So that's what is the example of a true power couple: is commitment, stick-to-itiveness, and weathering the storm.
You come from some good. You come from some good background. I might have to lock you down.
Got me locked already.
All right. So I'm loving the definition. That was actually very good. Listing those in our historical background that have stuck it out. I mean, when you reflect back on the strength they were for each other and what they had to endure and how they were able to endure it hand in hand, we don't recognize really the power of love yet. Love is it's the highest vibration we could feel as beings on this earth. And even though it is invisible, like a ghost, it is definitely very potent. You can taste it. You can feel it in the air. And when you are in love, it's like everything seems to be okay. No matter what's going on, everything is okay. So let's just get on. Let's talk about that today, family. Let's talk about the love we feel for each other when we are happy together. And even when we're upset, how that love is still just as strong, and how important it is to have it in our lives. I know for me, and I'll say this real quickly, and then I want to bring on our guest, but I know for me, before I met God King Grasshop, I've always been a self-sufficient woman. That's just one of the things. I've always been able to take care of myself, and that's because of my background as a child. And I've mentioned before, I was a foster child, and I learned at a very young age how to live on my own, how to be responsible for myself. At 18, you're emancipated. So at 18 years old, I was emancipated onto the streets, and I've never looked back. I've moved from that day till today. I've taken care of myself. I've always had my own. But I remember feeling like, you know what, I don't need no man. I'm happy. I have money. I have my children. I have my house. I don't need no man. And not realizing that I had closed my heart down, and I wasn't really living life to its fullest potential. Although I had the financial means, I wasn't feeling what it feels like to have someone adore you, to have someone think the world of you, for someone to, be there for you when there's no one else to talk to, And I remember my baby sister used to always tell me, like, you're going to fall in love, you're going to find somebody. And I was like, never. I didn't think there was going to ever be a person who could fit me, who actually knew how to uplift me and love me and appreciate me. I met nice people, but it was always something wrong. And then I met my baby. I remember, but once I met Grasshop, and honestly, once I met you, baby, and we became a unit and we became a one. I understand now what that song means. I was a movement by myself, but I'm definitely a force with you. And to have a strong God have my back, and when things are not looking up or things, I'm feeling a little off of my vibration today, all I have to do is look at you, and I know that everything's going to be okay. All I have to do is talk to you, and you always make me feel reassured no matter what I'm going through that I'm going to be successful. You're like my greatest support system. You know, you see things in me that when I can't see them, you see them, and you bring them out. So I want to tell you in front of everyone, thank you. I love you, and I appreciate your essence and your energy in my life. I truly do. And for my sisters out there who feel like, I don't need no man. No, you just need the right man. Because trust me, you are definitely a force with him. You are definitely going to go fast. You're going to be confident. You're going to feel like you can have anything. Once that piece of the puzzle is kind of put in place and you see that it is very possible to have a real relationship, and, you know, we're going to talk later on about what happened to us. You know, why is it so difficult for us to communicate with each other nowadays? But, you know, when you see how amazing you feel when you are in love and how things just seem to come to you, you're an automatic magnet to successful experiences because you feel successful. You feel good. So without any further ado, though, family, I want to bring on our first guest. This goddess is amazing to me. Her energy illuminates all the way through a computer screen. I love her energy, and I love the way that she loves on her man out loud. It's really a beautiful thing when I read the posts that they send to each other, you know, for all eyes and all ears and for everyone to see, and they're just so openly loving. So let's bring on our first guest, Miss Goddess, J. Valentina. Jay,
hey, everybody.
Hey, beautiful. How are you?
I'm fine, beautiful. How are you doing?
I'm doing well. Thank
How
you so much
guys?
for joining us.
I'm Blacknificent. Welcome to the Super Conscious Outlet. Glad to have you.
Thank you.
So
where are we starting at?
Well, first, you know, I know you have a powerful God King who is a big influence on a lot of our lives. I want you to introduce him to the Super Conscious Island and to the family so that everyone can hear about how much you love your man.
All righty. You know, you asked me to make it short. I have a lot of good things to say about him, so keeping it short was a little hard for me. So what I will say is Mr. J. Allen, he is a public figure. Even though he doesn't think so, I say that because, you know, so many people look to him for guidance as well as to being taught. So I consider him not only, you know, a public figure, but a master teacher as well. He is an amazing father, the best, in fact. He hosts his own show, which is on Universal Radio as well, every single Monday, so check him out. And what I love about him most is that he is good to me, he spoils me, he lifts me up, and he's just my whole world. So in a nutshell, he is the truth and the light. So I want everyone to welcome my God King, Jay Allen.
Hey, hello.
Hey, Jay Allen. Welcome to the Super Conscious Outlet.
Thank you. Like King Grasshopper said, I agree with everything she said. No, but seriously though, I really do appreciate it, and I reciprocate everything that she said as well to her.
Oh, that is so beautiful.
That's good. Well, I want to ask you guys a question. If you can give a brief on the story, how did you guys meet, or when the first time you guys met? Can you give us, like, what the experience was like, Brother J. Allen?
Okay, well, go ahead. I'm sorry.
No, well, I'll go ahead and tell this story. Most people don't know that I lived in California for quite some time before I came back to Chicago. So we actually met at an event called the Taste of San Diego, and we eventually, unfortunately, lost contact, but then ended up reconnecting through social media a few years later. So it was kind of like we met, lost contact, and then came back. So we've been going strong ever since.
Oh, that's beautiful. And being that you guys are long distance, how do you guys maintain the fire in that relationship?
I would say, go ahead.
Oh, no, go ahead.
I would say communication is definitely key when you're dealing with something long distance, because that's not something that a lot of people can keep up. So it's important to actually communicate, and that's where the bond is kept. And, of course, occasional visits and things like that.
And Jay, Valentina, what would you say keeps you guys, being a woman, because I know women, we have our emotional days.
Child,
we have those moments where we just need to be held. We just need to be told. Right?
You preaching to the choir.
Right. How do you do it, Goddess? How do you do it with your man being so far away?
Well, one thing I can honestly say that simple things keep me so happy. So when he posts, the little songs on my walls, when he, writes poetry, of course, that be about me. Of course, talking to him. We used to video chat a lot, so that was another thing that, also kept us close. But we just talk all the time, no matter what. We always make time for that.
That, what you say that, it really kind of rings a bell to me, and I want, to say this for our listeners, too.
Okay.
It is important to actually maintain the relationship. I'm going to ask you, Jay Allen, do you feel like it's important? Like a lot of people, we get together and see a lot of relationships that we're in or that we've been in, some of them could have been successful. It's the way that we maintain that relationship. It's just like if you have a pair of new shoes and you put them on and you just start kicking them around, throwing them in the backyard where the spider webs are, they're going to get old quick. But if you're keeping them clean and shiny, they're going to stay beautiful.
Yeah. I think that's definitely key for men and women, is the things, especially let me just say to the men, the things that you do in the beginning of the relationship. You got to keep that type of stuff up, as far as, making a woman feel special and things like that. And both men and women, I think, after being with someone for a certain amount of time, some people forget about those things, and some people take it for granted. And that's where, problems can arise and things like that. So I think it's always important for you to make sure that you're doing that same thing and making that person feel special, because that's how the spark is kept in a relationship.
Oh, yeah. I totally agree. And, just to add in there, what you said is absolutely right, but you still got to upgrade, too. And that's for men and women, because people eventually, they do get tired of the same thing. You have to, kind of keep it funky and stuff like that. So I would say definitely have that be a start, but eventually, add to it the more you grow in your relationship.
Right.
Right. Yeah, that's a very great point as far as upgrading and continue to grow and evolve with each other. That's what me and my queen goddess, the beautiful Koshana Quayle Jones Dow, we do. We constantly doing things as far as public speaking, you know what I mean? Both of us are public speakers. And, we challenge each other in a good way, even though I might not like to get corrected. But anyway, it helps to keep the relationship.
You're not alone. You
have to keep the relationship, keep it sparked, you know what I mean? It's a good honest discourse, and I love stuff like this, and things that really made us a unit, really made us soulmates was, I guess I can tell a story. We first met, we met at Karachi Center of African Spiritual Science out in Los Angeles, and so what happened was I normally pass out leaflets and everything, and I think she came to see Queen Afua, and she passed out, and she had straight up fainted. She passed out, she had straight up fainted, so we had to get an ambulance and help her to get back to her right frame of thinking, because when she walked past me, I was top dead gorgeous. She almost went to a coma, you know what I mean? So anyway, after we revive her back to her senses and everything, we started to say, what, you're the guy I've been looking for all my life. I said, hey, well, I'm here, though, But anyway, all jokes aside, though, we started to meditate. We was part of this organization. Actually, it was a Umestu. We do this at Karachi Center around the so-called Resurrection Day period, like the end of February, or the beginning of March, all the way to whatever Resurrection Day falls on. And we start to meditate every morning, consistently meditate, and we go over the Humestu. Those are one of the exercises that we partake in when we are partaking in that ritual, tradition. So when we started to really build, really build some camaraderie, we started to build and know each other, and we just realized that we had a lot in common. So it didn't start on a sexuality, start on spirituality first, though. And I'm truly convinced that's what builds our relationship with the spiritual continuity that we have with each other, and everything else falls into place, you know what I mean? So as far as upgrading, we still meditate. That's like the tie into what you said, Brother J. Allen, that it's still, we're doing the things that really got us there, but as your goddess queen, says, also upgrade. So not only we do the Humestu or the Dogon meditation, we do other transcendental meditation. We get our daughters involved in it, and trust and believe when Nubia gets a certain age, she's going to be meditating too, though. So definitely wonderful about upgrading and also keeping the thing that got you guys, that got us where we're at.
Right.
But that makes me wonder, just for your relationship, Jay Valentina and Jay Allen, which I think is so cool that both of y'all are Jays, but those are the things that make me stand out to me as a power couple. I'm just wondering. How do you guys maintain your spirituality? Do you guys, because I'm going to just say for me for a long time, Grasshop is the first brother I've ever dated who I have felt comfortable with sharing because to me spirituality is a very vulnerable place. And it takes a lot because I know we're all in different stages of it. We're not all the same. We're coming from the community that we're coming out of, there's all kinds of things being introduced to us, new sciences, new concepts. You definitely don't want to come into the relationship trying to shove that down the other person's throat. But at the same time, it was very vitally important to me that person understood and supported and, even opened up to what it was to meditate. It was opening up to what it is to, do a little voodoo sometimes, little things like that. Do you guys have any kind of spiritual connection? Do you guys, or have you tried? If not, have you guys tried it? Because I suggest there is something very powerful. I remember when you were growing up when you used to hear a family that prays together stays together. And although I know we have all moved away from the Christian concept, there are certain jewels that are still being taught to us. And one of them is to connect spiritually together, to tap into that realm. And, as we've talked before, that realm is very powerful. And we're going to talk about it later on, but the things that we've experienced, we made a couple of vision boards, and things have just been booming ever since. So what do you guys do to connect to each other spiritually?
Well, one thing I can honestly say, because, Jay Allen, he's been doing this for quite some time, as far as being in metaphysics and, just pretty much being awake. And even when he and I first started talking, he would slowly introduce me to it. I had never even heard of it prior to me meeting him. And I wasn't uncomfortable with it. I embraced it because I'm a very open person. So, I didn't look at him crazy or, run, trying to go the other way like, oh, no, he ain't about God. So, no, I listened to him and, I learned a lot from him. And as far as us connecting spiritually, right now, he's a teacher and I'm a student, literally. You know what I mean?
Right.
Because I'm literally learning everything from him. So he, does lessons with me. He does lessons with the kids. And I'm not ashamed to say it. So what? He's supposed to teach me.
No, that's beautiful.
So he definitely does teaches me. He does teaches our family. So as far as that connection, he definitely holds that down because right now I'm just really getting my footing in a lot of things. So, I do give the kids what I do know, but mostly everything right now we're pretty much looking for him for. But he definitely does connect with us.
I want to say this. I think it's very important that two people connect on a mental and a spiritual level first. I do believe that. And what we have to realize, too, is that everybody, like you spoke earlier, Kashana, is different phases of consciousness. Like someone told me a little while ago, I like to use this, everybody big don't flick at the same time. So there's different levels to it. And just because the person is not where you're at, it doesn't mean that they can't get there or that they won't get there. So, and that's one thing I've had to learn, not just in a relationship, but just with people, period, is you have to have patience. You know, I think sometimes us as being awake beings, when we first start off, it's like, yo, we want to kick the teachers down somebody's throat, and that's not the way to do it.
Right.
You know, that's not the way to do it. So, and anywhere that anybody is at, we can all learn from each other. A person might, you know, a person might be a master teacher. They can learn from this person that is just getting into it. Everybody can learn from everybody. That's the way that I believe. So I learn from her as well as she learns from me. We do it all together. And I think it's an important thing, like you guys stated, is bringing the kids into it. You know, when I first was starting to become awake, one thing that I had an issue with, I would tell myself, man, how am I going to teach the kids how to do this and what this knowledge is about, because I was engulfed in Christianity before I became awake. So that was one thing that I struggled with. I was like, well, how can I tell? But you know what? What I came to realize is the kids, they are the easy ones to teach because their minds have not been tainted by society's views. So these are, and when you sit down and you just, you know, they're able to think logically and what makes sense to them makes sense, as to where some of these adults, you know, they hold on to these teachings and things that they've grown up with and things like that. So it's very important to teach the children. And when you teach them at a young age, I mean, we're going to have some powerful offspring.
Right. Yeah.
Wonderful. Hey, family, we got a caller that wants to get in on this. So the caller with the last 4 digits, 4214. Welcome to Super Conscious Outlet.
Brother Grasshop, Sister Koshana, Brother J. Allen Greer, and J. Valentina. This is Rob.
How you doing, Rob?
I'm always, you know what, I'm not even going to front. I'm always excellent. Ain't no sense of me playing no more. I'm always excellent.
Right.
So I just wanted to share, you know, everybody is kind of being a little personal, so I wanted to share my personal experience with my wife. My wife of 11 years, going on 12 years. Okay?
All right, cool.
This is how far back we go. My mom introduced her mother and father. Okay, we went through playing at home together before school. We had the same classes from basically the first grade and up until high school. Okay? As a young adult, I chose a different path. She chose another. You guys probably know which one chose the negative path. That would be me. But anyway, we chose 2 different paths in life. Okay, and basically went full circle, only to come back together in our 30s to you know, start a marriage, have a child, and we have been working upon it, you know, every day, because that's what you do in relationships. You work. You know what I mean?
Correct.
Jay Allen knows because I share with Jay Allen. And this is a brother I met from Facebook. Then, you know, took it beyond Facebook, had the pleasure of, you know, going to his home and meeting him personally. And I start to, you know, share with him occasionally, you know, how she would, for lack of better words, piss me off. Okay? But now, in doing that, I also told him, hey, Jay, I love her, and I'm not going nowhere. I think I shared on radio shows my views, which, you know, some she's with and some she's not. I mean, I could be pretty extreme at times, and I know this because I know me. You know what I mean? So, I mean, basically what I'm saying is that, you know, a lot of mistakes we frequently make with in dealing with people is that we expect them to remain the same. You know what I mean? And, you know, we have to remember that, you know, in fact, people change minute by minute, second by second, you know. They suffer, I mean, mood swings, energy shifts, emotional waves, you know, even psychological changes, you know what I mean? So the things that, you know, it can even be unpredictable, you know, and it may seem erratic or irresponsible to us when our mates are going through this. But this is the whole thing about love. Love is to nurture, you know what I mean? So a lot of times, you know, in my personal relationship, I had to realize that it wasn't so much that she wasn't really supportive in all of my endeavors, is that I move on a different frequency. And so I had to recognize that. I had to kind of like, okay, brother, you got to pump your brakes because you be out there sometimes, you know what I mean? And this is me talking to me, you know what I mean? And so, you know, a lot of things like, I would talk to Jay Allen, and by him being, a younger brother that I'm not going to necessarily say look up to, but I don't look down upon him, put it like this. Right. What he just stated, you can learn from anyone. All of us, once you learn to listen, then you can learn from anyone, because none of us have had the same identical life experiences. I mean, that would be a waste to come here and find somebody who's had the same identical experiences that you had. You know what I mean?
Right.
Mm-hmm. So, I mean, when I look at love and everything else in a power couple, that means two people that are willing to nurture each other. I mean, yeah, you're going to be on a roller coaster some days. You're going to have some periods. I just always say, Jay Allen, man, I just want this. I want consistency, man. I want consistency. Then I thought about it. I need to be consistent in what it is I'm pursuing. You know what I mean? And not focus so much on what everyone else is doing. You know?
Right.
And so, in doing that, I again went through a growth spurt. You know what I mean? Now, does that change who I am? Not completely. I'm still me, but growing is infinite. I mean, your mind has no limits on how it can grow. And just to touch on something real quick, Coach Shana, which, I mean, Coach Shana, you already know how I feel about you. You know what I mean? It's like my sister, my daughter. I mean, I've explained this to you, on a deeper level than just, the surface level. But, with the ego, we have to realize that, the ego is a part of who we are. And if we didn't have it, we probably all just be walking around in the kitchen, making a pot of coffee, just not even knowing who we are, what we intend to do. The thing is, we have to keep it balanced, because, I mean, a lot of times the ego will pump you up. I mean, it wants to bolster you, it wants you to, put emphasis on things that are not really necessities. And this is why we have to keep the ego in check, but we cannot just kill it or not acknowledge it, because that's what makes us us. You know what I mean?
Yes.
And so,
it's a defense mechanism. It's to protect us.
Right. So we have to realize that, even with our mate, still has to remain our self-identity. Because as much as I love Stacy Moore Jarrow, if hypothetically, I normally don't even speak like this, but if she were to pass away, in the very near future, I'm not going to try to get in the box with her. I'm going to say, okay, that's what happened in life. So what I'm saying, and I use this way to really give you guys a mental picture, I'm going to continue living until my purpose is fulfilled, until I have no say in the matter. So I will never say that there's no one I can't live without. Now, this may seem harsh and rash to you all, but everybody that's in my life is expendable to a degree. Now, would I want to be without her? Would I want to go through life without her at this point? No. Could I, if I had to? Yes. And that has been proven to me in the situations that I've been in, and I really thank you all for the time you've given me today. And I just wanted to share that, you know what I mean, from my perspective. I know most of you are a little bit younger than I am, which really doesn't have a lot to do with it. I enjoy connecting with you all and talking on a level so we can bridge these generational gaps, and we can come, and we need to start building for those babies, you know what I mean? And I know Grasshopper don't know that, but, Grasshopper is the father of my grandbaby, though. I just want you to know that, Grasshopper.
Yes, indeed. But yeah, man. Well, thanks for calling in. You definitely left some treasures for me to think about. And, I want to pose a question. Might be tied in the statement to what he talked about. First of all, about love. I was looking at John Henry Clark. He's my favorite historian, and he made a distinction between love and respect. He said so many of us are into loving, and eluding or eradicating from respecting our mate. And I know one of my jagnas who's always fond of saying you can't really have love without having respect. You got to have respect for your respecting kin in order for the relationship to be successful, because some people, I'm not saying all, I'm saying this is some hypotheticals right now, consider love as a feeling. You know what I mean? Some might not know the difference between love and lust. You dig what I'm saying? Some might know love being an emotion or, like I said earlier, a feeling. So what do y'all think about that? Is there a distinction between love and respect, or is it the same? Brother Jay Allen.
I think when you respect someone, then I think the love goes hand in hand. It'll come right after that. I mean, I think a lot of relationships don't last or they go astray due to a person not respecting that other person, whether it's them, going out doing something or just making that person feel unappreciated. So I would definitely agree. I think respect is very important. I think that comes first.
Can I just add something to that real quick?
Yeah, please.
Because I was actually going to say pretty much what he said, but I think respect maintains the love you have for a person.
Right.
So, the maintenance that you spoke about earlier that you keep for, in a relationship, respect is definitely one of those maintenance factors.
I think it is definitely, like you said, it is key because one of the things, even with me and Grasshop, and I'm not knocking anyone who has had any type of relationship problems. They happen, okay? Relationship is,
of course,
like Rod said, is a growing process. You must be willing to grow. And it's really awkward sometimes when you come into a relationship at a certain stage in your life where you still have so much to figure out, and now you have another person involved, and you still really haven't figured out who and what you are. But one of the things that I want to suggest to everyone, when the respect starts to leave the relationship, is like pouring poison on the road. It is going to die. You know what I'm saying?
Oh, definitely.
You have to continue to respect and appreciate each other. When we first get in these relationships, all we see are the things that we like about that person. We love the way they talk. We love the way they dance. We love how they said, I love you. We love the clothes they wear. We only focus on the positive about the person, and what we notice is that more of that positive is brought out of that person. Because whatever you bring out, focus on a person, you will bring that out of them. But when we start to criticize that person, well, you know what? You lazy, and we start coming with these derogatory words towards that person. We start trying to tear them down verbally. We are literally killing our relationship. I've said it before, what you stop appreciating loses value. Just like a car. You buy a brand new shiny car, you love that car, you're driving around, you're all super happy. As soon as you start complaining about that car starts to break down. You know what I'm saying? It literally will fall apart on you. You know what I'm saying? You see people who are older than us with old cars from 1920s, and they loved it this whole time, and they still got their car. You know what I'm saying? So we have to know that in our relationship, and we got to pay attention to how society is playing a role on us to talk to each other that way. You got music calling a woman a B all the time, and a woman a H all the time, and the sisters, I don't need no man, that type of stuff. And that is why our black relationships, our melanated relationships, that communication failure and that encouragement to deteriorate or tear each other down and to talk to each other foully. When you tell your man, I'm telling you, sisters, listen to me, queens, because I know I do this all the time. When you have your man and you call him a king and you talk to him nice, you will see this man, it's just like a child. When you tell children certain things, when you tell them, oh, that's the sweetest little boy in the world, he is just such a good child, that kid literally tap dances for you. He does whatever you want him to do. It's the same thing with your man, sisters. Not trying to call him a child, but I'm saying you want a positive performance out of him, you tell him positive things. And that goes for the brothers too.
Let me just say something to what you just said as far as, uplifting your man and calling him a king and vice versa. It's like a lot of people haven't heard that. A lot of people aren't used to that. I know as far as us as black men, you gotta, we call each other niggas and things like that. So it's like when you give them that type of term, it's just like, man, it's very uplifting, and it makes you fall into acting as such. You feel what I'm saying?
Exactly.
Without doubt.
Oh, yeah.
Indeed, I agree with that completely. Did you want to say something else, Jay?
Oh, no, I was done.
Okay, so I mean, if anyone who's listening out there who's experienced a relationship, like I said, any relationship to me could be successful. It is literally how you maintain that relationship. But if you want to step your relationship up to a power couple, you need to uplift your king. Like Jay Valentina said, you need to upgrade, literally. Move up. Tell our brother he's a king. Treat him like a king. When he comes to you, you don't need to be his enemy. And that's what another thing that we experience in our relationships, that we've become the enemy or we're competing. And that's why I want to talk about the next question for you guys. And we're going to go deep on this one. Do you think we should uphold our African relationship to a European standards? And let me elaborate first. What I mean by European standards is, since we've come into this world, family, the black man and the black woman have always been hand in hand, side by side, from ancient Kemet all the way down to slavery. Never has it been that the black woman is supposed to be behind her man, okay? And never has it been that the black woman had to be in front of her man. But we were next to our men, side by side, okay?
That's right.
And we've come over here, and this is for the brothers and the sisters. The sisters go around, because now we have a European program going in the back of our subconscious mind. We walk around saying, well, I got to pay for everything, and he don't have no money, and he ain't doing nothing, and he's supposed to take care of me. This is a European concept. And then the brothers go out walking around feeling offended by a sister who can hold it down because he's supposed to be the man.
Right.
And she ain't supposed to be able to do anything better than him. And see, these are all European concepts. We, from the beginning of the time, have always held each other down and have always had each other's backs. So, sisters, do not think just because you make a little bit more money than that man, you're supposed to have his back. That's who you've always been. It ain't never been a time in history Queen Hatshepsut held it down. Okay?
Right.
You got Queen, you got Sojourner Truth. You have so many sisters. I mean, look at Harriet Tubman. She was a sister, and she did all that she did. We come from a long line of goddesses and queens who can hold it down. So don't be surprised if you're capable.
Right.
And brothers, don't be threatened when you have a queen that knows how to hold her own. That she's standing on her throne strong. That's exactly what the ancestors sent you because they know the predicament you're in. So they send you a goddess that can help bring you out of that.
Right.
So I'm going to ask you, Jay Valentine. No, I'm going to ask you first, Jay. I'm going to get your opinion. Should we hold our relationships? Because I feel like that is what's destroying our concept of what love is.
Yes. We should be walking side by side. I definitely agree with everything that you just said. I think we have adapted a lot of European ideologies. And when we talk about what's in our DNA as far as black people and what was done to tear the black family apart, let's just go back to slavery. And when the black man was pulled out into the yard and they tied a horse to this arm or tied a horse to the other arm and they tore his body apart and they separated him. And when the black woman saw that her man could not protect her without being brutalized or even killed, then what that black woman did was she knew she had to be independent, and she raised her daughter that same way. She raised her daughter to be independent, and she raised her son to fear the white man, never look him in his eyes. So that when we talk about what's in our blood, we always talk about, diseases and diabetes and all that stuff is not in our blood. Those are bad habits, but that are learned. But when we talk about what's actually in our DNA, these are the type of things that are in our DNA and that have affected the growth of the black family.
Oh yeah. And he's, of course, 100% right. I have to agree with him on that. And, just to touch on the things that you were saying earlier, Kashana, how, the woman over here is being independent, the man, he's feeling insecure or whatever because he's not making as much. Clearly that type of European lifestyle causes confusion. So it's no wonder that, our black community is in disarray. And I totally agree that we definitely need to be hand in hand. I don't care if I was making 6 figures and he was making 10,000, he's still the man of our house. He's still going to be respected.
You're still going to treat him like a king.
I'm going to still treat him like a king. And, you know, when he disciplines the kids, I'm not coming behind him, you know, undermining him in front of the kids or behind his back to the kids. I'm not going to do that because, like we said earlier, respect is extremely important. And a man has to know he is the man. Not that we're letting him be. He has to just be that. And like you said, we have to encourage that. We have to, you know, embrace that we can't be, oh, well, this man can't tell me nothing. No. He's supposed to be the teacher of the household. He's supposed to be the priest. And I don't mean, you know, just as like a Christian or a Catholic. No, a priest is a teacher. A priest is the person who we go to for guidance and spiritual guidance. So as a man, that is his position in the household. So we definitely need to be hand in hand, side by side, having each other's back.
Right. Let me say this real quick. I think that a lot of, I don't want to say even a lot, but there are sisters out there who do adapt that, you know, that way, okay, I'm independent and, you know, things like that, and I don't need a man, and this dude he don't have this or he doesn't have that. But at the same time, we have to realize what's been done to keep the black man down. Now, I'm not saying that they're, you know, black men, we cannot rise. I'm not saying that. Okay, if you got a dude that's just lazy and he ain't doing nothing, okay, I'll understand that. Okay, it is what it is. But at the same time, a lot of sisters really have not taken the time to really see what has been done to not only keep the black man down, because when the black man is kept down, then the black family is kept down. Yes. Okay? It's one and the same.
Right. So true. I agree with that 100%. And I like what you shared about how it's been done deliberately. We have to see this as a deliberate thing. And the reason behind it, let's analyze this, people. Family. Let's analyze what the reasons are behind the destruction of the black man and the black woman's relationship. And it's exactly back to the song, because you are a force when you are together. You are a force when you are together. We are so powerful that it is a threat to their society to see us together. Right. So they do this deliberately to destroy that relationship so that we are in our house miserable. Our kids have no father that raises, no father at home. You know, the woman is so independent that the little boy don't even want to be a man no more. He want to be a woman. Right. You know what I'm saying? We have so much destruction going on, but they know that because you two are so powerful, when y'all come together, the universe literally drops to your feet. And I'm talking about experience. Like I told you guys earlier, I was a sister who was very independent. You know, and I had got to the place where my heart had gotten stone rock. I was so tired of relationships because I couldn't figure out how to communicate, because that dysfunctional chip that goes off in our head kicked in every relationship I was in, and I couldn't figure out how to communicate. It took me really learning myself, learning metaphysics, learning balance to really attract a good man and to appreciate him, to see and be able to recognize he was a good man. You know what I'm saying? Because trust me, y'all, a lot of sisters passed him up and didn't know what they was passing up. Right. And I swooped in like, no, this man is a good man. Like, this is what this meditate with me is more important than you driving a Ferrari. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
That's and like you said, Jay Valentina, I'm gonna ask you something about us, Jay sisters. Isn't it the most sexiest thing when you hear your man teaching your kids?
Girl, look, you're going to have me turn this show into something else. Because, his authority, period, turns me on. Like the other day, my son had gotten in trouble at school, and I was like, babe, we need to talk to all these kids, like all three of them. I said we need to get all three of them in line, because even though, we are in a long-distance relationship, I teach my kids now to listen to him and to respect him, so that when we do move, he's not going through nothing, with the kids, because, they don't know how to listen to him. They are already being trained now. So we were on the phone, and my son asked, like, the craziest question, and I was getting ready to explain it, and he was like, He was like, Zakai, let me tell you something. You and I both know that ain't it. Boom, 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 boom. He just straight checked my phone. I was like, there you go, babe. Get him. That's what I was talking about. Yeah. So, yes, it is extremely sexy. It's a turn on just all around, just being with a black man who knows himself, who's very educated. It's just, yes, honey. I'm going to leave it at that.
All right.
I love that.
You have to keep that. You keep going. Baby, you can chime in. You know, we're not
I don't know.
Let me be modest. Let's continue. I'm all ears.
We're going to get into go from the love, from the outside to the bedroom if I keep talking.
Man, that's a good question. You know, I'm glad y'all brought that up, though, because even in this household in Palmdale, my goddess queen, Koshana, definitely, we've gotten the same page when it comes to raising, you know, the children. You know, like you know, I have 2 spiritual children, you know, and Nubia is my biological, but we treat them all the same. And you know, she's giving me that type of leeway. You know, obviously I don't discipline them with physical force. You know what I mean? I don't do that obviously, but she does let me put some form of disciplinarian in them, as far as you know, making sure they do their chores. You know what I mean? I'm kind of a neat freak. You know what I mean? I don't, you know, I gotta have it clean, man. You know what I mean?
So is someone else on this phone.
So I definitely, I'm definitely, it's pretty disciplined when it comes to that. And even when it comes to my daughter Nubia, you know what I mean? The same thing goes, though. So one thing, she made it very comfortable. You know, some gentlemen, the horrors I've heard of gentlemen dating a sister who had prior children before the relationship, is like, oh, they are true sides, have the children and the significant other be at odds with each other. It'd be very uncomfortable, you know what I mean? But my queen definitely made it very comfortable in her house, you know what I mean? For me to come in, you know, just to blend right in and to showcase love and respect to the children. We have a wonderful union, a wonderful family building right now. So definitely, she definitely made that very comfortable for me. So much love, respect, and loyalty to you, Goddess Queen Koshana Quimby Jones.
Can I ask the ladies a question real quick?
Yes.
What advice would you give women out there who have children and that are involved in a relationship as far as letting that man be the man of the house? Because there's a lot of that out there to where it's hard for some women to let another man discipline their children. Some people have a lot of problems with that. So what would your advice be to women out there?
Good question.
You want to go first?
I'll go first. I've actually, have friends who, of course, had kids from prior relationships and got in new relationships. And, I've talked with them and they said things like, well, he can't discipline my kids, or, I don't want him saying nothing to him, or then even when he does, it causes an argument. And I asked them, I have asked them in times past, like, do you want, to continue to be a single parent, or do you want to have a family with this person? If your answer is yes, then you need to learn how to let go of control. And as a single mother, especially if you've been single for so long, of course you're always in control. You have no choice but to be in control, but you're going to have to learn how to fall back and let that go. It's easier said than done, but if you put forth the effort to start doing it, it eventually becomes easier. Now, for me, I didn't go through that because I don't want to be a single parent. And even if I got with Jay Allen, just listening to him, seeing him and interacting with him, I knew I could put my kid's life in his hands. No doubt, no question. Didn't have to worry about nothing. Any funny business, I knew he would take care of them the same exact way he was taking care of his daughter. So for me, it was more so like, here, take them. You know what I mean? Help me out, hold me up, because as a single mother, I've been down so many times. So now that I have this missing piece that was missing for so long, it's like it's a breather. You get to kind of be a little more free knowing that you have help now, whether it's mental help, emotional help, spiritual help, physical, financial help. The fact is you have that help, so it makes it comfortable. So in order to embrace that, you have to learn to let go. If you never learn to let go or let that man step up and learn how to be a father to your kids, you're going to keep having that problem. Because some women say, well, he don't know how to, raise my child because he wasn't here, but you have to let that man learn. Just like you had to learn your own kids, he's going to have to learn them too. These kids didn't come with instructions, even the ones you gave birth to. So as a parent, whether he was biologically the father or not, it's still a learning process. So that's what I was saying.
I agree with Jay Valentina. For me, because to me, I think I have girls. And there's a couple of things at play in a relationship where you have daughters. One, I know how vitally important it is for young girls to have a father figure. Just someone who shows them that having a relationship with a man is not only sexually based. You know what I'm saying? And so for me, it was important that my daughters had a real king as a father figure. You know, they had seen me go through relationships before, you know, some that were pleasant, some that were not pleasant. Kids are not dumb. They've seen you know, what happened with you and their dad. They're there, you know. So from the jump, when I started dating Grasshopper, well, let me say this too. Grasshopper works with the youth in L.A. So even though he hadn't had his own children yet, he always had a fondness towards kids, which was one of the things that turned me on about him, was that he already had a fondness towards children. So I knew that he wasn't someone who just didn't know how to be around kids. From the jump, when I brought him into the relationship, I told the children, you know what, this is Grasshopper. They had already seen him, they had already met him because we all go through the same spiritual center. So they were kind of comfortable already. And I explained to my kids, I tell my kids the same thing. If the person is not telling you, the adult is not telling you to do anything dirty, bad, or wrong, then you listen.
I feel my kids.
You know what I'm saying? If anything else happens, you come to me, but then you listen. I noticed when Grasshopper was first with him, the first weekend, like, I left him here with him to test him. I'm going to El Pollo Loco. When he first went the night, I'm going to go to El Pollo Loco. And he was like, all right. You know, he didn't say, you taking your kids with you, you know.
Right.
He was good. So I was like, okay, I see. Okay, he cool. But when he was first sitting with the girls, I was noticing that the girls were, like, being real spoiled acting. And I told him, I said, you must be real nice to them when I'm not here. Because when I get here, I can hear the whininess. And they know I don't run the house like that. You know what I mean? So you must be giving them whatever they want, you know? So you're gonna have to be a little bit more strict on them so that they know that they know, right? That they
but you know
that's
not how with their girls.
Right, they girls. And my oldest knew she knew he was gonna be like silly putty. So he's saying well, but he know she has her little finger. And I have to come in like, no, she's gonna have to lay down the law and let her know she can't get away with everything. You know what I mean? And
exactly.
He's been such an amazing father. I mean, Grasshopper doesn't miss one event they have at the school. He's at every back to school night. He's asking most of the questions to the teachers, you know, and that's one of the things that just opens my heart more for him, because I wanted someone who wasn't afraid to be a dad, who wasn't going to be like, oh, your kid, that ain't my business, you know.
Right.
He said with Nubia, you know, there's no favoritism. There's no, oh, this is my baby, those are your babies. You know? So I just kept it 100 with him, and I made sure that they understood from the jump. I sat down and spoke with my girls clearly. Now, family, we're getting ready to take a break. I want to give this opportunity to Jay Allen. Your goddess brought you on with such a beautiful and finesseful introduction.
I sure did.
Correct.
Because you guys are getting ready to leave the show, I want to thank you guys both for coming on the show with us tonight.
Thank you for having us.
Is there any last words that you want to share, Jay Allen, towards your goddess?
Yes, I want you to know, babe, that I love you. I support you in everything that you do. I'm very proud of you for people out there may not know, but she just finished school. She's graduating. So I'm proud of you for that, and I really love the way that you support me in everything that I do. And I'm very grateful for that. I love the mother that you are, and I'm glad to have you. I am.
Oh, thank you, honey.
Oh, y'all so cute.
So now y'all see why I love this man. He ain't going nowhere. He gonna be in every lifetime I'm in. If he ain't, I'm gonna go find him.
That is
and
so
thank you guys
beautiful.
for having us on. We really appreciate it.
Thank you guys. Y'all were amazing. I loved it. I appreciate
love
you.
You too, sis.
Love you, family.
We're
going to go on break now.
All right, now, sit up.
Okay, peace, family, and welcome back to the Super Conscious Outlet. Today we are talking about the metaphysics of love, and we are talking to power couples tonight. If you are a power couple, or if you are just a couple, or if you are just a couple on the way to becoming a power couple, please call in. The number is 646-787-8180. And if you are single, friendly, and looking for someone to love, please call in too, because the brothers and sisters need to know you out there. So call in and share your thoughts with us today. Grasshop, the first half of the show was definitely empowering. I love speaking to a couple who was long distance, who have held it down for some time now, and I just love their energy and their vibe. We have joining us now another beautiful and amazing couple who I feel like they represent the very essence of what a power couple is. They work together. They build their home together, and they just hold each other down. They have each other's back. Let me introduce to you, family, Goddess, once again, she's joined our show for the last couple of shows. We're going to bring her back today, Goddess Sita, the Herb Alchemist. Are you with us?
I sure am. Can you hear me?
Hey, I can hear you, Goddess. How are you?
Very well. How are you?
Wonderful. Now, we're doing a little different today. I'm going to let you introduce Chrono to the world. Give him a wonderful, beautiful introduction to our family.
Oh, wow. Okay, well, introducing my prince, one of the greatest men that I know. What can I say? This man is just magnificent. I want to just say one thing, that his eyes tell it all, and his eyes is what captivated me and keeps me till this day. Brother is just my backbone, powerful, patriarchal king, keeps me balanced, and also is a family man, also is an amazing businessman, amazing musician.
Welcome, Prince Chrono. Peace. How are you, brother? Welcome to the show.
How you doing, sis?
Good.
I'm doing pretty great. Wonderful. This is Grasshopper. I want to welcome both of you guys to a Super Conscious Outlet. And I would like to ask a question, pretty simplistic question. If you don't mind, for the viewers, can you give us a brief story of when was the first time you met and what took place during the first time you guys met and what attracted you guys to each other? You can start off with Queen Sister Sita.
Okay, I heard the first, you said when the first time we met. What was the second part?
This is pretty much when the first time you guys met, and what were some of the characteristics or traits that attracted you guys to each other?
Okay. Well, the first time we met was a couple years ago, and I was actually on a trip. Okay, I just want to tell this little story really quick, because I was doing a show a couple years back, and I was going to host it at our Return of the God 2013. And this show was called Soulmate for Sira, because I was just at a point. I was tired of just relationships that I had a dead end and that just weren't the right partner, you know, and so
You there?
Sita? Oh, okay. Their phone must have dropped. She'll call right back in. And since while we're waiting for them to call back in, let's invite our third guest also on. Family, stay tuned for this guest. This brother is very, very amazing. The relationship him and his goddess has is beautiful, and he shared it with me. We know each other personally. He's going to one of my classes, and I thought, you got to get on the show. You got to tell this story. So I'm going to bring in our next guest, Brother God David and his goddess. David, are you with us?
Hello, can you hear me?
Yes, I can. Now, we're waiting for Sita and them to come back on. So when they get back on, we'll let them back in. But while we're waiting, I want you guys, first let me tell you, welcome to the Super Conscious Outlet. As you know, I'm Koshana Clayley, and my God King Grasshop is on with me. I really enjoyed the story you shared with me about you and your goddess. Is your goddess with you?
Yes, she is, my wonderful wife. Her name is Lonnie Thomas.
I'm going to let you do an amazing introduction for her. We have been having the sisters introduce the brothers, but since you are on, I want you to introduce your goddess to the Superconscious Outlet. Give her a powerful introduction.
Wow, I hope that I could stand up to this introduction. But, you know, my wife and I, we've been together over 12 years.
Wonderful.
But most importantly is that she was once my music manager, my personal manager. So obviously that couldn't work, so I figured let me break that relationship off and gain a higher and greater relationship as my wife.
Oh, wow.
Having the understanding that I had some time back, I knew then that this would be a greater opportunity to share my life with someone just as wonderful as she. She's a professional woman working for the number one entertainment company in the world, administrative assistant to one of the VPs. Also, she's a wonderful mother, daughter, best friend, but most importantly, she's my wife, and her name is Lonnie Thomas. Here she is.
Hi.
Peace, goddess. Thank you for joining us this Saturday. How are you today?
I'm great, thank you. I'm honored that, we're calling in to even have a conversation with you.
Oh, yeah.
You know what, I love seeing two beautiful African people love each other. It is so important to us that we share this love with others who are looking for it or who don't believe it exists anymore. I'm going to ask you a question, Goddess. What is it about David that stood out to you, that stood out past all the other brothers you've ever seen? What is it that made him the one?
Uh-oh.
Well, he always makes me feel special. Even when we were dating, if we were out with other couples and let's say the other lady was ready to sit in the seat, he would say, excuse me, no, this seat is reserved for my lady. He would always do these things that would make me feel, so special. And he's still the same. He loves to open the car door. He wants you to wait, and I'm a little impatient, but I'm being patient. And he wants to open the door and let me in. He's still a gentleman. And I guess it was his beautiful eyes and his heart. He's very sensitive, very loving and romantic, and that's what I like. And he's
wonderful.
Got a little suave that I like.
Yeah, that's cool.
That's awesome. This is Grasshopper. I want to welcome both of you all to Superconscious Outlet. Mr. David Thomas, last name is Thomas?
Yes, it is. Yes. Thomas.
Yes. All right. What your goddess or your wife was expounding on about you was a gentleman. And I would like you to furthermore elaborate on the key essential to being a gentleman because, in the community, especially with a lot of youngsters, they seem to, when you be a gentleman, you're like viewed as a cupcake or viewed as kind of soft, and that's not the case because I do believe in opening my queen's door, you know what I mean, a car door, we go into a restaurant, pull the seat out, old school. And I would like to hear from, I don't know if you're the elder, I don't want to call you elder, but a person who is my elder, how about that? Will you give us some advice on what it truly means to be a gentleman and you're not, being defecting away from your manhood? If you can expound on that, Mr. David Thomas.
Grasshopper. Well, first of all, I want to say congratulations, and it's a pleasure to meet you. I heard a lot of great things about you. And congratulations about your new child.
Thank you.
About being a gentleman. It was interesting because I grew up in a house with 5 women. I was the first boy.
Sure. So
it was bittersweet in a sense. One, I always needed that big brother, but I was the first boy. But the second part is that I was able to observe women, 5 big sisters and a mother. And they definitely, these 5, 6 black women always made sure that I would be kind to my little girlfriends.
Right.
See, I would come home with a new girlfriend in elementary or something, and it's like, well, you make sure if he's not treating you right. So that kept me on my toes. So all my girlfriends were my sister friends. So I never, but nonetheless, in terms of soft, I heard the word soft, and it's really, that is who we are, period. A gentleman is where it comes from, a gentle man. History talks about a gentleman being soft, pretty much close to where it is a feminine thing. But it really is not. Basically, is that it comes from being taught, man. I was taught by women how to be a gentleman. I was taught what it takes to make a woman feel good, and I was glad that I had ears so that I can hear those messages, because when all my buddies started to figure it out at 16, 17, 18, I was on a whole nother level.
Yeah.
Right. I understood the fact that what would make a lady smile, and I understood what would make them frown, and I like making my wife smile, so I took all of that was stored up in my memory bank and just dumped it on my wife. And the reward is great, man. It's awesome.
And it's beautiful.
Wonderful.
It's beautiful.
Wonderful.
Let me do one thing, family, before we continue. Let's bring back in the goddess Siddha and her god king Chrono. We're going to have a little bit of a roundtable discussion now. So we can all talk about some things, and you guys can share some of your pearls of wisdom with us younger folks, and we can share some of our experiences with everybody. So let's bring back in Siddha, the herb alchemist, and her prince Chrono.
Hey, sis, we're back.
Welcome back. Welcome back.
Welcome back. I want to introduce you to our guests that are on with you guys. This is Brother God David and his goddess. What's your goddess name again?
Her name is Lonnie.
Lonnie, Goddess Lonnie.
L-A-N-N-I-E, yes.
Ooh, look at him. That's right, Goddess Lonnie. And so Goddess Lonnie and Brother God David, this is the Goddess Siddha, herb alchemist, and her prince Chrono.
Okay.
Welcome.
Pleasure.
Hey, wonderful. Yeah, I feel this is Grasshopper. I like what Mr. David Thomas was saying, and I kind of want to piggyback on that as well, though, because like you, I was raised with my mom and my sister, so I was taught to treat women with respect, to open the doors and everything. But when I got older and got out on the streets, I somewhat rebelled. I somewhat rebelled. And I bought into that fabrication of, you being soft, you're not really being a man. And it wasn't really until I met my spiritual father, Baba KB, my divine brother Jabari, my divine brother Mark, who are real men. They are not no punks, who showed me the true way of how to treat your woman, opening the car doors and opening the doors and pulling a seat out, treating them like they are the gods that they are, you know what I mean? And I really learned that you don't have to be too overly aggressive in everything that you do, because really that could be a weakness and you could be hiding something. So that's why I asked the question to those who are my seniors, my elders, because I love, like you said, love making my queen goddess Koshana smile. I don't want to make her frown. And with me getting more mature in my life, I know that's the way to go. And when I'm out in the streets and we're out engaging in the public, what I learned from my divine brother Mark, if anything goes down, is I'm fighting for my queen to the death. You know what I mean? To the death. I ain't going to put it out there, but I'm fighting for it to the death. And that's what I learned for protecting my sisters, but also praising them simultaneously as well. So thank you for those pearls of wisdom. I'm definitely going to incorporate that as a food for thought in my mental Rolodex. Thank you.
Grasshopper, man, I think that's pretty heavy, man. Definitely the reward of wanting to do the right thing on behalf of our black women. Taught since a kid from these women in my life, my sisters, my mother, to respect them and to protect them. And I can't do nothing less than just do that. It's just in my DNA. But
beautiful.
But it sounds pretty cliche and everything, and it sounds pretty braggadocious. But this is what I've always lived by since a young man, and it's my principles, and I don't lower them for anyone or anybody, not even for my own wife, because she must know that my job is to be here and to to lift her. And I feel as if I don't do that, my life would not be honored or even protected at all, because, when you're blessed to have someone, that helpmate, but it takes some time to try to see it. You have to practice it, because you can really miss it, because we get caught up as men about understanding what we think love is and what we understand with the true essence of love in terms of black love for your woman. You know what I'm saying? Matter of fact, I'm going to put our business out there, because relationships are like roller coasters, but just, about a week ago, man? We were going through a disagreement, and we were trying to understand one another, where we were coming from. And she's a very intelligent woman. She's studying for her doctorates as we speak. So we find ourselves talking to each other at times like we're writing a paper. But then again, my brothers out there, sometimes you have to stop and look at that woman in her eyes and say, this is love talking this time. And and that love is talking is about, well, hey, what is it going on out there and what's going on inside of our home, and that's keeping us cool. That's going to keep us rooted and standing strong, and that's about talking truth to one another and respecting that at all times.
And then I love that.
For us, we get caught on word meanings. Like we just can't say any kind of word to each other. We can't. You got to be very conscious of what we say and speak into each other's lives. And we make a lot. We've made a lot of mistakes trying to get there. We're still working on that. But I think that's a very main ingredient of love is communication, and and respect, and every word. Someone else can mean something else by a word, and you can have another definition. You need to understand at all times so you can be connected.
Yes, I agree with that.
Cool.
I definitely agree with that. Quickly, Goddess Siddha and Chrono. I know you guys, before the phone hung up, you were sharing with us your meeting story, how you guys met. Do you want to tell us real quick, and then we can go on with our dialogue?
Yes, I was just saying that we met. I was told to go to Florida by the ancestors to this meeting that Dr. Umar Johnson was putting together called the Meeting of the Minds, and the ancestors had told me that there was love waiting for me in Florida and that I had to get there by any means. And so I purchased my plane ticket that night. And I went there. And the funny thing is that my sister, Kateria, is the one who introduced me to Chrono and his music a year prior. So I was totally clueless as to who the love would be. But I just knew that it was in Miami waiting for me. And so, when I went there, we just, I have to give you the short version. But when I went there, we just kind of clicked. He was out there doing music, creating an album at the time, and it's just funny because he wasn't even there a week before. He had came there like literally a couple of days before me and Kateria had came down. So it was just divine order linking us together. And so we just, like I said, I had decided to spend 8 days in there when I purchased my plane ticket, and my sister came down with me, but she ended up leaving after a couple of days because we were doing an event for Return of the God. And in that 8 days, it was just a magnificent experience. That first week that we were together, we ended up doing a lecture to teenagers on how to create actually it was a school for pregnant teens, and I was asked to do a health lecture on how to create a superhero baby, and how to have healthy pregnancy. And so he co-hosted the event with me, and it was just like we just were a perfect match, from music to health to everything. So I had to shut down my show after that because there was no one looking for me. But that's how we met. We met in the studio, and we've been making music ever since, and our journey has been it's just been amazing. You know, he teaches me every day, and I'm just so grateful.
Wow.
That is so beautiful. I love that the spirit brought you guys together. You know, that's powerful. And I know for you, David, you and your goddess, you guys have been together for 12 years. So, you know, you guys are literally like a role model for us, you know, of how, you know, how to sustain that relationship and how to always come back together and always find each other again, you know, and remember and remind yourselves of the friendship. I'm going to ask you guys something we talked about with the other couples before you guys got on. How important is it? And we can start with Siddha or Chrono and just kind of go around the table with it. How important is it to maintain the relationship, meaning to continue to compliment each other, to continue to do those things you like to do from when you first met each other? How important is that to you, Goddess Siddha? And then we could just pass it to Chrono and go around the circle with it. How important is it to maintain the relationship?
Well, see, the meeting is the easy part, but the maintenance is the work, you know, and it's not always easy. It's not always fun, but it's important if you want, if you care enough to keep the threads of the fabric together. And so it's extremely important, and I think that that's where a lot of people burn out, you know, because the infatuation stage, that's all, you know, that's all fun and games and this and that, but when you start to have to really get to know a person and you're living together and, you know, you have to adjust yourself and face yourself. Most importantly, your partner is a mirror, and they're going to point out things in you that are there that you may not even notice, but that are definitely things that you need correction or character modifications. And so the work is extremely important. I know. Chrono, please speak on that first. David, would you like to chime in on that? How important the work is in the maintenance of the
Hello?
Wow. Hello?
Yes, P.
Hey, peace. I feel the maintenance of a relationship it's a really important factor, like in growth and the productivity of a union. You know, getting to know each other, getting to know, like not just on the physical surface, but also on the level of the soul. You know, I feel that's really valuable. Getting to know one another, and especially in a black relationship, you know, or so-called African American relationship. You know, there's a lot of social engineering. You know, it keeps the African American relationships from working. You know, and the social engineering, you know, it can be. Hello?
Yes, we're here.
Hello?
Chrono?
Yeah.
Okay, Chrono? Oh, we might have lost them again. Oh, their phone dropped again. Yeah, they're all the way in Vegas, family, so let's bear with them. They'll call back in. So let's pass that question over to... Let's pass the question over to you, Goddess Lonnie. How important is it to you, sister, to maintain the relationship?
Are you? Can you hear me right now?
Yes, I can hear you.
Okay, because I'm trying to do some high-tech stuff with the phone and making sure we get a good reception with the speakers. So bear with me. I'm glad you can hear me then. Well, first of all, we're grandparents, and Lonnie, she had to walk to see what's going on with my grandson.
Oh, okay, cool. So why don't you answer?
Yeah, so we're at home, though. We're at home, and right. Can you speak here, honey? Okay, here she comes right now.
Oh, okay, beautiful.
And if you can ask that question once again, I do appreciate it.
Oh, no problem. Goddess Lonnie. Well, we do have Siddha and them back on, so we're going to welcome them back in, but we're going to go ahead and pose the question to you, Miss Goddess Lonnie. How important is it to you, sister, to maintain the relationship, the maintenance of the relationship?
Okay, what's the question again?
How important is the maintenance of the relationship to continue to compliment each other?
Well, the maintenance of the relationship is the whole relationship. If you don't maintain your love, then it's somewhere along the line, things are going to start dropping. You're going to lose something. You're going to lose your connection. You can have a connection and everybody be in one mind, one body, one spirit.
Mhm.
If your heart is cracking already. So
yeah.
I find for me that if I want to have an awesome love, I have to give an awesome love.
That's key.
And everything that I want from David, I give to him what I want. And I'm just fortunate to be blessed getting it back too. So
that is so beautiful.
Yeah, and so first we came up with this decision, but we haven't done that. Instead of arguing and fighting because we don't agree and going to bed having an argument, why don't we just go to bed and just make love until we're sweet again, and we don't have that chip on our shoulder. But,
I know Grasshopper loved that one.
That's my situation exactly. Continue.
Yeah, that's a tough practice when you're not feeling each other,
Mhm. That is so beautiful.
But just not taking each other for granted, not one day, and not if you have a foul thought in your mind about your mate, then you need to check yourself before you entertain it. Just try to just look at the good and be able to support one another. And I think as a woman, what I have to learn is I have to trust him to be a man. And and David's thing is, don't try to save me. You always, and it's not that I'm trying to save. I'm just trying to be helpful. I'm just trying to assist you. I am your helpmate. But but he expects me to know when to stand back and when to contribute, which I haven't mastered yet. But I'm working on it.
I love that, though. That's beautiful. And to continue to grow together. Like you said, there's so many things in ourselves that we are working on, individually, and that we know deep down who we are and how great we are. And we're learning to express that more and more, and to have someone who can support your growth and to understand that you are still growing. That to me is vitally important also, family, in our relationships as far as the maintenance. Recognizing that your man going to need some growth, and so will you. But to be there and supporting that growth and to bring the best out of each other, to not tear each other down, but to bring the best out of each other, to compliment each other, to tell each other, hey, I see you growing, and I see you getting better, and I see the light in you, and I know you're capable. And these things really change the dynamics of your relationship. But we do have Prince Chrono back with us. And I know he was in the middle of telling us with his concept of maintaining the relationship. So, Prince Chrono, are you back?
Yeah, I'm back. I apologize about that.
Oh, it's okay. It's okay. We know you guys are way out there in the desert.
Yeah, it's the antennas are messing up today, but we still gonna kick it. Well, maintaining a relationship, especially an African American relationship, there's so many different obstacles, set up that prohibit, such a relationship from working. That so much mental programming from day one, because we live in a society, we live in a country where, our relationships are not designed to work; they're actually designed to fail. You have reality shows, you have all these different songs, you have, it's, and the social engineering is set up so that, our men and women, don't necessarily understand each other. If you look at, society today, and it's just not in the dynamics of Black America. It's across the dynamics of America, period. The structural basis of which, men and women used to base their relationships off of, like, those values are disappearing. And I'm a person, like, I was raised with my father until I left home at about like 15 years old, you know, into the streets. But there's certain things that my father always taught me, you know, as far as maintaining like a relationship and being a real man to a woman, you know. There's a lot of different things that, you know, myself I had to, you know, just really stomp out of myself, you know, and even today, you know, I'm still stomping it out, you know. As far as the mental conditioning that, you know, we have, we're taught as people, you know, because as people, we're taught to disrespect each other. We're taught to not really be affectionate. We're taught to be ashamed of love and different things like that. We're taught that it's, you know, soft to love. You feel me? It's a weakness, you know, and that's a really important like dynamic to like really just understand and heal from, you know, like the shame of love, you know, and that's what keeps our relationship together is you know, being corny. You feel me? You know,
right.
A lot of people they think that love is corny. They think that popping the pimples and being lovey-dovey and you know, greeting each other, giving each other compliments, making each other be the best. They think it's corny. You know, and you know, and it's like I had to wake up one day. I woke up real young and said, you know what? Like I see these relationships, you know. And these relationships, like, to me, like, it's misery, you know? And I'm like, you know what? Like, I used to run from relationships because, you know, that social engineering, you know, it's like, you know, it's set up so that you have the most negative relationship, you know?
Right.
And I used to run from relationships due to that, you know? And I said, like, how do we go back? How do you have a relationship that is not miserable? You know, and that's when I started to realize, like, okay, well, what's missing? The culture. You know, we're missing cultural values that have worked for our people for thousands of years, and we gave them up. You know, for the past 500 years, you know, we have been taken away from those cultural values, the way that men and women used to interact. You know, our indigenous ancestors. You know, of many different lands. You know, they used to interact with each other in a way that kept their family structures together, you know, and their family structures were so tight and down-packed, you know, and there's no divorce rates, and there's no single-parent families, there's no, you know, dysfunctions that you see here in America. Like, only, you know, you see certain things around the world. I mean, Western civilization has messed with the relationship of everybody, you know, every single man. You feel me? From the Asian man to the Hispanic man, everybody's relationship right now is in turmoil due to, like, westernization.
Right.
And I wouldn't say westernization from a systematic basis, but the ideology as far as of what love is, you know.
Right. I'm going to ask you, brothers, I'm going to ask you, David, how important is love to you in your lifetime? Like, we are living here on this ball in the middle of nowhere, and for some reason we've all been placed here together. How important do you think love is to sustaining our lives?
Wow.
I'm David first, and we can pass that one around.
Wow.
How important is love in sustaining our livelihood, our life?
You know, like I said, love comes in many forms. So, from a personal standpoint, I believe truly, if we know that love is the foundation, love is the part that roots the situation, whatever our core is. You know, just keeping it very simple. You know, there's, you know, love is the anchor. That's everything to me. You know, you can't knock it down. You can't go around it. You can't go over it. You can't, you know, it is what it is. I'm sorry if I'm sounding very abstract, but to try to express love in such a way, it comes from a supernatural, a spiritual standpoint, you know, and I like to protect my family. Every day my wife leaves, you know, I cover in the white light of love, pink light of pink light of love, white light of Christ, and blue light of protection, and everything is all connected to me. So love is the center, and there you have it.
Right, I love that. I know for myself, and I'm going to pass it to Brother Chrono, to me, I became alive when I fell in love. I honestly, I grew up in, like I said, a foster home. I was abandoned by my family, so there was a part of me that I closed down to protect myself. And I think a lot of our sisters, because of our past experiences, and our brothers, we have put up a shield to protect ourselves. We're not willing to be vulnerable to the essence of love. And when I finally fell in love with true love, and I found love for a lot of different people, when I found the true love, the love that was, I honestly believe he was designed by the he/she creator to be perfect for me. You know what I mean? You know, everything about him, his goofiness, the way he looks, the way he talks, everything is to fit what I think is beautiful.
Wow.
But when I fell in love, and I've been a metaphysician for several years now, and I've been manifesting amazing things. But when I fell in love, all of the pieces to my life came together. It's almost like I'm in a euphoric state all the time, where I'm not looking to make myself feel happy. I just naturally wake up feeling happy, you know. But Brother God Chrono, how important is love? How important is love in sustaining your livelihood? How important is it to have love and to be in love and sustaining your life?
Well, you know, to me, you know, love is everything. Love is life. You know, love is like the divine force that, you know, pretty much to me, you know, it powers everything. You know, it can only it can only, you know, add, but it can't, you know, harm. You know, love to me is like it. You know, it doesn't necessarily come in the form of, you know, I think that love a lot of different times, you know, especially in American culture, is misinterpreted. You know, we go from like a foundation of love of like, oh, you know, the Greek foundation of love, you know, where love is very misinterpreted. We think it's all about hearts and flowers, you know, when it's really about something else, you know, something more, you know, divine. It can't, you know, necessarily be explained. Love to me is everything. You know, every black man needs love. You feel me? If he wants to be, you know, some people say, well, I don't need love and this and that, but it's like, you know, I mean, you're not anything without your female counterpart. You know,
right.
You know, that's my world. That's my breath. That's my the reason that I keep going. You know, and it's a very important thing to have. You know, I think that, you know, in the future, you know, brothers, there's a lot of things that barriers that we have to let down, you know,
right.
as far as pertaining to love, because, you know, we live in a society where love is embarrassing. You know, it's a
right.
You know, you have past experiences and things like that pertaining to love, where, you know, you think, well, love hurt me because, you know, well, this person, I thought I loved this person, and this person did this and they did that,
right.
and that person, it doesn't necessarily represent like all love, you know.
Right.
It's that
right.
that part, that experience that you have with that person doesn't really necessarily have anything to do with love, you know.
Right.
Because if it was a problem, you know, you necessarily wouldn't have that, you know, such an experience, you know. But
right.
you know, love comes in all forms, like, you know, even this is just an example, you know. You know, growing up, I used to get checked by like OGs, like when I was out of line, you know, doing something, you know, immature, because they were like the people that were guiding us at the time, you know. And it's like,
right.
you know, people that love you, you know, they're not gonna always do what you want, but they're always gonna do what you need, you know. It's not about what you want, but it's always about what's best for you at the end of the day, you know.
Right.
And I think that's an important aspect to about love, because love is, you know, it comes in different forms. You know, there's so many different forms that love comes in, and it comes in a million different forms, you know.
Right. I agree with you. Grasshopper, Brother God Grasshopper, are you with us?
Yes, I'm here.
My baby, I love you so much. Now, why don't you tell us how important is it to have love? How does love sustain your life?
Okay. Well, like the constituents on this round table, how they expound on, love is in different forms, and that is so true and so profound. For me, when it comes to relationships, or not just relationship with your affection kin or significant others, but also with your brother, with a brotherhood or sisterhood, love should also be equivalent to respect, which should also be equivalent to loyalty, which should also be equivalent to trust, commitment, so on and so on. You build bonds. And like I mentioned earlier with our first guest, love and respect should go hand in hand. You know what I mean? Having a respect, not just a love you marriage or relationship, but a respect you marriage relationship, being loyal to each other, not talking behind each other's back. And now, I don't want to talk behind my affection kin or significant others' back, So it's about commitment. It's from a spiritual perspective, like Mr. David Thomas said, yes, love deals with spirit. Kundalini energy, like we meditate together, like we get in sync and establish a camaraderie with the one sovereign spirit, whatever your personal name is for your deity. That's a form of love from a spiritual aspect. And we got commonalities that we are sharing and then building and growing from a spiritual perspective, metaphysical perspective. So we're talking about the metaphysics of love, So it's a lot of different intricacies that we can tie into what love is, but to keep it very simplistic, love to me equivalent to respect, and equivalent to loyalty, commitment, and trust amongst each other. And that's especially when it's dealing with your significant other.
Now, I'm going to ask to me, and this is for the sisters, my goddess sisters that are online with us, how important is it to love yourself first before you can love another person? Because I know that a lot of times in relationships, and I think one of you guys touched on it earlier, one of the sisters said, your relationship is going to reflect what's going on with you. If you pay attention to the signs, if you wake up with attitude and your man still has attitude, usually it's because you had attitude first. Or, if your sister, your goddess start treating you funny, usually you did something. So, how important is it to love yourself? How important is it to give yourself that time? If one thing me and God King Groundhog do, we both meditate, we meditate together, and we also like to meditate separately. And I know when he goes into his room, he has his own separate room in the house. I know when he goes into his room, he needs his time. He needs time to be with himself. I don't have to be up under him 24/7, and he doesn't need to be up under me 24/7 to know that we are still very healthy in our relationship. So I'm going to ask you guys, and I'm going to ask the sisters first, my queens, how important is it, Goddess Lonnie, you go first, and then Goddess Siddha, you can go ahead and chime in if Lonnie is available to us. Goddess, how important is it to love yourself?
It's very important to love yourself first, because if you don't love you, you can't give anybody any good love. You have to be a whole person coming to another whole person. Because if you come not whole, you just have more work in the relationship.
Yeah.
But if you're in tune with yourself and you know what you need, like I just need private time just to refocus and have my own individuality. So when I get with David, I bring something to the table. I'm not just waiting for him to come up with something. I'm also adding something to our lives by just focusing on me and what I need. But what I've learned is women need other women friends. It's very important. Sisterhood is very important. And some of that, spending that sisterhood time is time for you, too. You need a buddy.
Yes.
So taking care of you is number one. If you don't take care of you're broken. You're coming broken, and a lot of men like broken women. So
right. I agree. Goddess Siddha?
Yes. What the sister said is on point. Being a whole person is key, and what I find is that not only loving yourself, but also knowing yourself. If you love yourself, you will know yourself, and you would appreciate yourself for the great things and the flaws that you have. And it's very important because a lot of times what I notice, and this is just from observation of other women who have a void or who find themselves being empty, is that they will lose themselves in a relationship because they are so concerned with the man, and they just give of themselves. They're so concerned with what would please him or what would make him happy, opposed to being herself and being happy within herself, and then being an extension to that man and letting that man be an extension to her. So she'll go and she'll mold and form her life and herself around who that man is and what he's about, and not be fulfilling her own divine mission that the Creator gave her to live. And so in the end, she ends up being empty because we all have a divine purpose to fulfill. And that's not to say that you shouldn't support your mate. You definitely should support your mate, but you shouldn't support your mate to the extension where you aren't giving into yourself as well, because soon enough you will become depleted, and so you won't be able to give to that person the way that you are supposed to, because you haven't been filling your own cup first. And so it's very important.
Right. Family, it is coming to the closing of the show, but we're going to go a little over. But before it completely cuts off, for the listeners who are tuning in via web, all those who are on the phone, stay tuned in because we are, it's still on. But those who are tuning in via web, I want to have, I know that Goddess said you introduced Chrono. Chrono, are there any words that you could share to Siddha for us all to hear, to express your love to her? And then I want to also give the Goddess Lonnie to share some words to her God King. Brother God, Prince Chrono.
Hello?
Yes.
Yes. You're on. Brother Chrono.
I couldn't hear. I had to go to the bathroom right now.
Okay.
That's love.
Right.
You see the greatness of everything.
Okay.
To express your love to me in front of the entire world for everyone to hear. What do you love about him? Tell everybody why he's so great. I'm joking.
I love everything about this woman. When I first met her, I was like, wow, like she was amazing, I thought I was like looking at a beat from like Lemuria or something like that, or like Atlantis. I was like, wow, where do you come from? Like, I thought she was like a deity, And like, when I looked at her at UCC, I went to the studio, and I mean, I don't know. But this is the love of my life. I love her. She's my blessed. She's my everything. Like, this woman lifted me up. Like, when she met me, I was in the street. I was like really on like a bad path, but she's a woman that saw my potential, and she was like, I was like, why do you like me so? What do you love me so? Dude, it's right here in life, you're right here, But this woman saved my life, and I owe her everything. She gave me fight back,
That is so beautiful. And so,
every single day is magical, Some days, we have things to like, work through. This is minor issues, like, you're using too much salt in school, little petty things, but it's not, it's just lovely. It's a lovely experience. I want to be with anybody else.
That is so beautiful. That is, wow. Goddess Lonnie. God is King sister. Are there some words you'd like to share with your God King?
Yeah. Well, He knows that I love him very much. And he turns me on just when he moans. He just has this way of just going, do it, David. Do it. I tell you, it's like, it's something that he does that just moves me. When he does that, I know I have good graces with him to the day. And so I just love him. He gives me a lot of love and a lot of support. And he gives me a lot of the other stuff, too, because he's trying to tell me the truth every day for hours and hours. But I love him very much.
Oh,
awesome, man.
That is so beautiful. I wanted to say something real quickly, and I'm going to pass it to my God King. As far as metaphysics is concerned, for those who are still listening, just as doing this, having this conversation for the last 2 hours and being hooked into this vibration, I'm sure you guys can all feel the love energy around you right now. And
Absolutely.
You're feeling more intimate with your partner as we speak. You're feeling more confident in your relationship as we speak. And that's the power of expressing to each other how much you love each other. That's the power of showing that appreciation. And it's not only affecting your relationship, but now it is affecting several other people. Just those who are witnessing you show love to each other, they're also feeling the love vibration. And this vibration is going to attract something beautiful to you. So I just wanted to point that out because I can feel it. It's a very strong energy around me right now, and I know it's because we're talking about it for so long. It makes you. It feels really good, and you feel it too, God King David. It feels really good.
Indeed.
Okay, baby, I'll pass it over to you.
Oh, okay. First of all, I would like to thank all of the guests for making this a very momentous discussion today, from Brother Jay Allen and his Queen Goddess Jay Valentina, to Brother David Thomas and his Queen Goddess Lonnie Thomas, and also to Brother Chrono and his Queen Goddess Siddha, for making once again this a very profound and dynamic discussion. Much love, big black love to each and every one of you. Thank you for being on the show.
Thank
and
you.
we also like to thank our listeners, those who called in, once again giving your energy to make this show a major success. Now, family, we also here at Universal Radio have a lot of profound and very in-depth shows that goes on throughout the week. Tomorrow night, Sunday, that is, we got Let's Talk About It. The host of that show is Zemriah Davis, along with the co-host Tiffany L. Gibson. That is tomorrow night from 7 to 9 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. If you want to tune in, simply call this number, 646-787-8180, or you can link up or log in at www.blogtalkradio.com/Universal Radio 2. That's tomorrow, 7 p.m. Let's Talk About It show. We also have on Monday the Jay Allen Show. Jay Allen Greer is the host of that show, along with co-hosts to be announced. And that show starts at 7 p.m. Monday night Pacific Standard Time. Tune in. You can call 646-787-8180, or you can log in to www.blogtalkradio.com/Universal Radio 2 at the end of that. Tuesday, the Getting It In Show. The Getting It In Show with Liz Rebecca. Once again, 7 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. To tune in to that show, simply call 347 area code 857-1166. That is the Liz Rebecca Show on Tuesday. We have on Wednesday, I do believe, You Must Learn by Lamar Williams and Martin McBee Brown. Start time is 7 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. The number is 646-787-8180, or you can log in blogtalkradio.com/Universal Radio 2 at the end. And we have Thursday, Jubilee, Black Love. That is with Nazir Shaheed, 7 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. That's Thursday. And the number for that show is 347-857-1166. That is Black Love on Thursday, I do believe. And then next Saturday you have, you guessed it, Superconscious Outlet with co-host Grasshopper and the hostess with the mostest, Koshana Quinley Jones-Dow. Want to in? Call in number 646-787-8180 or blogtalkradio.com/Universal Radio 2 to get some of this profoundness, food for thought, nourishment for the soul, and food for the spirit. And as we close, I would like to share my words for the hostess with the mostest, my affection kin, the great Koshana Quayle Jones Dow. You know, before I met Koshana Quayle Jones Dow, I was a man that was very lost, very angry, and as I spoke earlier, I was rebelling, and I thought that I was a man as it pertained to dealing with females. Come to realize that I was a little boy. Seriously, I was a little boy in a man's body. And when I met Koshana Quayle Jones Dow, she not only impacted a spark in my life, but she also helped me to tap into the nice, kind-hearted nature that's who I really am. You know, I'm like a black yogi right now, you know. And with her in my life, helping me, guiding me, being a speaker, being a teacher, we do things together. She's a master teacher. I'm a master teacher. She's a master student. I'm a master student. And we learn it from each other, compliment each other. And one thing about the male ego, I'm speaking in the first person right now, egotism, you know. I was a very competitive person, you know, especially when it comes to public speaking ordeal. And it took my queen, Quayle, Koshana Jones, this beautiful black woman, to help me to nurture my emotions. You understand what I'm saying? That I don't have to be always so assertive, so uptight, go along with the flow. She taught me how to get more involved in metaphysics because I was very resistant towards metaphysics at one point in my life. I was a bunch of spookism. She helped me to adapt to the metaphysical way of life along with keeping my revolutionary ideals and historical analysis along with learning something new, which I love her really for it. As far as us being affection kins, being soulmates, that goes without saying. She is my best friend. You know, we do everything together. She does not get on my nerves. We bear a beautiful child, Nubia Tamaria Jones Dow, who was not an accident. I wanted to get my daughter to come on my birthday. I was about 27 hours off. I'm born May 5th. She born May 6th. So anyway, and another thing is, I do not want to have no children with no one else except Koshana Quayle Jones Dow. I mean it from the bowels of my heart, from the depths of my soul. She loves my mom. My mom loves her. And I hope my mom ain't listening to this, but my mom used to make some bomb macaroni and cheese. But Quayle might be a little better. Now, so anyway, sorry, Mama. So anyway, so we gonna deal with that. Koshana Quayle Jones Dow. She is beautiful inside out. She is the best woman walking the face of this earth. You know, and I was glad to be a part of her union and to be with her. Big black love to her, and I got a special gift to her tonight that I can't share over the phone with y'all today. Anyway, we'll see y'all in 166 hours. Have a good one. As you're watching the fight tonight, I'll take Mayweather in 10 rounds. I shake. Big black love to you all. Peace.
Love you all, family. Thank you. Peace.